Hey, I just wanted to pop in before this episode starts to just give you a little suggestion to make sure to watch or listen through this entire episode to really get the full experience of, the full silliness and everything that happens in this episode. So, I'll see you at the end. Hello, word nerds, and welcome to another episode of The Dictionary. I am your host, Spencer. This is episode F204, and I just happen to have the wonderful hairy hosts of this podcast. Now, it's a long podcast title, so I wrote it down. I have to make sure that I get this podcast title correct. You are the hosts of 2,000 episodes all about the nicest person in the world, Weird Al Yankovic, hosted by superfans and collectors Dave Rossi and Ethan Ullman. Did I get that right?
It's close. It's very close.
Shockingly close.
We do have an abridged version of our title that maybe Dave can share.
Yeah, so together, Ethan and myself, Dave, we are Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast. And when we came up with that name, we wanted the name to be as difficult as possible so that nobody could remember it. We've seen every single variation on that name possible. I don't think anyone has ever got it right the first time. So don't feel bad, Spencer.
Okay, I won't feel bad. I was getting a little nervous. It's not quite as complicated as the title of one of Weird Al's recent tours. Do you remember the full title of his recent tour?
Of course
you
we
had
do,
to say
Spencer.
it a lot of times.
I don't know if your audience knows who you're speaking with right now, but we are two of the world's most obsessive wacky Weird Al fans, and not only would we consider ourselves historians and celebrators of the great Weird Al, but we know very complicated things, such as the name of Weird Al's previous tour, which was the unfortunate return of the ridiculously self-indulgent, ill-advised Vanity Tour.
That was a title that I never tried. I was like, no, it's too much. I'm not even going to venture memorizing that. But I know the two of you had to say it many, many times on your podcast.
We have that memorized so well because we've had to say it over and over and over again. Because, I mean, I'm sure you're going to get into this, Spencer, but, we do a lot of... We try to put an episode out every week or so, and we do a lot of interviews. I think we have over 250 different inch episodes out with different interviews from people. But we also do separate bonus episodes where we review each and every single Weird Al concert that we go to. And I don't know how many concerts Ethan and I collectively went to on the last tour. It was probably over 30 each. And we had to, every single time we did a review, we had to say the name of that tour over and over again, multiple times. So we're very glad that in 2025, the Weird Al tour is the very easy, very short, bigger, and weirder.
Yeah. It's almost too easy. Like, we feel like we're missing something when we say it. And it is, it's a lot of fun to record those bonus episodes, the concert reviews, and we basically, even on Weird Al's tours where the set list doesn't change, it takes us longer than the concert itself was for us to record our reviews, typically, even after we've seen 25 plus of the same show. So we'll have to see what happens this year if we get into it, because as of the recording of this, the tour is just a week and a half away from starting.
I wanted to mention that we are on the precipice of this new, bigger and weirder tour starting. I think he really felt bad to you guys specifically for that long title, which is why he shortened it so much, I think. And it'll save a lot of recording time for you if you only have to say bigger and weirder.
Just think how much shorter our episodes are going to be now, Ethan, because we don't have to say all those words.
Yeah, all those electrons we're going to save on our SD cards are going to be very happy. And I think it's hard to talk about Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al podcast without sharing something about the history of the podcast, and that it's not just Dave and I. We're in the title. We do unfortunately have this guy, intern Frank. He's our intern. He's been with us from the beginning, and he's just horrible. We rarely let him do stuff on the air. Anytime he does something, he messes it up. Anytime we do something that maybe people would perceive as Dave and I making a mistake, it's actually intern Frank making this mistake. So
always
the hatred of him from Dave and I and from our listeners is really deep. So we really hate anything to do with intern Frank or people named Frank or the word Frank. So just wanted to put that out there in this little intro.
This should be an interesting episode then. Dave, in fact, Dave, you have a shirt that maybe shows some of this hatred.
Yeah, so for the people watching on YouTube, you can see my, my intern Frank. We hate intern Frank shirt. This is how serious we are about disliking our intern Frank, is we had shirts printed up and we wear them all the time. And you can get them through our website, weirdalpodcast.com, if you really wanted to. And you can check out each and every one of our episodes there as well. Every single episode we've ever recorded is up there, including all of our bonus episodes, which go back to the 2019 tour, the Strings Attached tour as well.
What a clever way to get a plug in early, but I'm sorry you have to hold all plugs till the very end. This is way too early for plugs.
That's okay. But, your intern can edit that out if he wants to.
If I have one.
By the way, so I'm sure we're going to talk about this at when it's the right time, but a lot of people have told us in the past that our intern Frank sounds a lot like Weird Al Yankovic. And I just want to put that rumor to rest immediately because trust us, if Weird Al Yankovic ever had came on our podcast and did some sort of voiceover work or something, we would not relegate him to such a tiny, unimportant role. We would absolutely blast his name every single opportunity we can. We'd use him as much as possible if we had access to Weird Al Yankovic in that capacity. So I don't know where these people came up with this ridiculous idea, but
it's people grasping at straws.
Confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Weird Al Yankovic. It is some smelly, ugly intern named Frank.
If he does such a bad job, why is he still around? Why does he still work for you?
Well, we did have him sign some contracts, and unfortunately, because we had him check the contracts, he didn't necessarily negotiate in our favor to give us an out. So we are stuck with that because of him, and it's really terrible. And I'm sorry that we even have to talk about him because we hate him so much.
Yeah, if we could avoid talking about Frank at all costs, we would, of course. Maybe he's just some sort of evil genius. That's sort of what I'm getting from this. He's just pretending to be terrible.
That could be it.
I don't know. I mean, this intern Frank, if you just spent 27 seconds alone with intern Frank, you would feel the same way that we feel about him. Guaranteed. He's just not a good person. I mean, listen, there's stuff you put on a podcast, Spencer. You know how much work it is to put into a podcast. You've got to record all the episodes. You've got to edit them. You've got to reach out to all your guests. You've got to schedule times. It's a lot of work. And Ethan and I don't want to do any of that work. So that's why we got ourselves an intern. Unfortunately,
you shouldn't have to do it.
His name was intern Frank. And it was intern Frank, and it's ridiculous that we have to put up with him each and every week. But because we love our listeners so much, we do it, and we try to keep him out of the public eye as much as possible.
Yeah, and we don't want to hear that voice either. That's one of the worst parts, I think.
Yeah.
So I do know that there is a Weird Al song called Frank's 2000 Inch TV. Is there any correlation between the title of your podcast and that song? It's probably just a coincidence that you got an intern named Frank who just happens to be named Frank. I don't know. What do the people say about that?
I haven't considered that before.
Oh, is this new to you?
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. 2000. Yeah, I
We'll
don't
have
know.
to get back to you on that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really
Yeah,
familiar.
You guys can chat when we're done. If you see if you can figure that out. But what?
So
Where
I mean,
does the, where did
so
the
just to clear things up, though, I mean,
sure?
there may or may not be a song called Frank's 2000-inch TV. I don't know if I've ever heard it.
Good point.
I don't know if Ethan, you've ever heard it either. We're pretty big Weird Al historians. I think we probably would have heard it. But to be clear, we didn't name our podcast Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast because of a song. We named it. We picked to 2,000 inches because it's exactly 166 and 2/3 feet.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, you answered the question that I was going to ask. Where did this 2,000-inch thing come from? So yeah, that's a perfect explanation.
I mean, our goal, so unfortunately, intern Frank made us sign these long-term contracts. Our goal is we have to do 2,000 inches worth of episodes, or the way he phrased it to us, 166 and 2/3 feet worth of episodes before we are let out of our long-term ironclad contracts. So we're 250 episodes in. We've got quite a bit to go. We'll be old and gray. I'll be grayer. Ethan will finally get some gray hair in his beard by the time
I've got one.
Oh, good.
Dave, maybe you'll go backwards. Maybe you'll go dark again. I've seen it happen.
You never know. Dorian Gray.
On the precipice of this tour, when does it start? What's the first one for you? What are you looking forward to? How many cities are you going to? And why aren't you coming to visit me?
We're going to, I believe, is it over 30 each, Dave?
Yeah, we're definitely going to over 30 concerts each. I'll answer the one why we're not coming to see you, Spencer, by flipping the question around on you and saying, how come you're not coming to see us? We're going to over 30 different shows.
We're like almost 50% of the shows. Like the odds of us being at your show are not as great as you being at one of our shows. So
that's true. I'll have to consider going to a show that's not 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah, expand your realm a little bit there, Spencer.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the world. So I just keep it insular.
Yeah, so the tour starts on June 13th with a residency in Las Vegas, and there are some really, really cool venues on this tour: Madison Square Garden, Red Rocks Amphitheater. I mean, the former home of Woodstock is on there. The Kia Forum in the Los Angeles area, just some incredible shows. And then it runs all the way through September 25th, where it ends in Clearwater, Florida. Everything's up on weirdal.com/tour. A lot of these shows are sold out, so if your listeners want to see Weird Al, and trust us, we highly recommend it. You can still get tickets for some of them, or you have to join the wait list, and hopefully tickets will open up for the others. And once you're done attending your show, you can listen to us talk about it on our podcast.
See if we got it right, which we will. I think I'm really excited about seeing Weird Al at the site of the famous Woodstock concert and at Madison Square Garden. But I think it's hard to not be super excited. Dave and I, for the first time, are going to be seeing Weird Al in a brand new state to us. And he's performing in Alaska, and we are going to see him in Alaska 2 shows in one day. It's going to be amazing.
2 shows in one day?
Isn't that great?
That's amazing. What city in Alaska? Is it Anchorage or Juneau, probably?
It's right Palmer. Outside of Anchorage. It's called Palmer, Alaska. And let me tell you, when we spent 6 hours on the phone planning out our tour itinerary for the year. And when we saw Alaska on there, we said, first of all, we have to go because it's such an outlier. And also, if you look at his tour schedule, and they don't always make sense, but this one is ridiculous. The 2 days before the concert, he's in Auburn, Washington. He flies to Alaska, which is over 2,000 miles away, to do 2 shows at the Alaska State Fair. And then he flies back, and he has 3 days to do this, to get back to Eugene, Oregon, for the rest of his tour. So we want to see this just to see how he pulls this off, because he's not only going out with himself this year, he's going out with his core band, But for additional players as well, he's bringing back all of his multimedia, his costume change and everything. So
Oh yeah.
this is just to get all those things to Palmer, Alaska, is going to be incredible to watch how that comes together.
I think an added bonus too is that the shows were taking place at the Alaska State Fair, and I can only imagine that the state fair crowds and food and everything is just going to be wild, and probably also worth the price of admission.
Yeah, absolutely. State fairs are always a sight to behold, and I am very curious to know what an Alaska state fair is going to be like.
Well, you'll have to listen to the episode when it comes out, and we'll tell you all about it.
Oh yeah. And it'll be up like an hour after the show, right? You're right on time with these.
Probably for our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com.
If intern Frank can get it out there on time, if they don't get it out there on time, then you have to blame intern Frank.
Always.
That's all I gotta say.
I forgot to tell the listeners, hey, we're going to be talking a lot about Weird Al, at least the beginning of this episode. Hey, we just did that. And to the two of you, I wanted to mention that this episode of my podcast is episode 2001.
What? What?
Literally, the previous episode was 2000, and this is 2001.
Let me tell you, Spencer, if you had our contract, you'd be done by now.
Yeah.
You've done your 2000 requisite episodes. I'm really jealous of you.
Yeah, I got a ways to go. Everybody.
His contract is page-based in the dictionary.
Yeah,
Good. Okay.
pretty much. My contract goes until I'm probably 60 years old. Another maybe
Welcome to
15,
the
20
club.
years. Yeah, exactly. Well, is there I feel like I had some other questions, but would you guys like for me to get into the actual words of this episode?
I cannot wait to see what our words are, Spencer. I know we were here before, and we had a great time, and I remember nothing about what words we had. But I know that I feel like we were able to make all of them relate to Weird Al in one way or another. So I feel like we're going to try that challenge again. And it may be a stretch, but we're going to make it work.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't be too much of a stretch because every single word in this episode starts with the word Frank, F-R-A-N-K.
No.
Did you know that going in? Were you aware?
Is it too late for us to cancel this?
We can't get away from Frank. Whatever we do, Frank just haunts us. Amazing.
Yeah, I kept that secret from you guys this whole time, but oh, and yes, you guys were on before. I should tell the listeners, the watchers, that you both were on episode B132, way back from
Bingo.
Almost exactly 5 years ago.
Really? That long ago?
Wow, 5 years since we've talked to you on the podcast?
May 30th,
Wow.
2020 is when that one went up. That was back when I was recording during the pandemic, sitting on my bed.
Wow.
Oh,
I can't believe
boy.
it was 5 years ago.
5 years.
That makes sense. We should have come in again. Why'd you wait so long to have us back?
I've been waiting for Frank.
This was all
Frank.
planned.
Yes,
It's
I'm playing the
amazing.
long game here. All right. Well, the first word in this episode is the first form of the word Frank. How many forms of the word Frank are there? You will have to listen or watch and find out. So, this one is an adjective from 1535. Number 1, marked by free, forthright, and sincere expression, as in a frank reply. Isn't there that phrase that people say, "Excuse me, may I be frank with you?" What do you reply? What do you say when somebody says that to you?
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, why not?
I say we're not. I say if somebody were to say they wanted to be Frank, I would really talk him out of it because Frank is such a miserable, terrible person, and we have to put up with him day after day after day, and it's just not. It's not fun.
And you don't want anybody else to be Frank around you.
I mean, there are good Franks out there. I don't want to say that we hate all Franks.
Oh yeah.
Name one.
Well, Frank from the Bank Sanchez is quite a wonderful Frank, if I had to name one.
And why is he so wonderful to the both of you, perchance?
Well, he's a close personal friend of ours, of Al's, and he played bass on the Placebo EP version of Happy Birthday. And, that doesn't just happen by any old Frank. That has to be a really good Frank to make
That's right.
that impressive bass line work.
That is very true. All right. Maybe you're convincing me there's some good Franks out there, but I don't know. We'll see by the end of this episode. Are they all good? Are they all bad? Or is it a mix? We'll see. Number 2A for the first form of Frank it means unmistakably evident, as in Frank materialism. I don't fully understand that. Unmistakably evident. Well, it's like you can't miss it. It's just very clear, right?
Yeah, I would say it means obvious. And
Obvious,
to me, it's obvious that our intern Frank is the worst Frank possible.
Totally.
Yeah. No argument from us. 2B. Clinically evident and unmistakable, as in, we are in the medical world. It is Frank pus. That pus coming out of your arm is unmistakable that it is pus, so it's Frank pus.
I mean, I do think of pus whenever I see our intern Frank, so that makes sense.
Good point. Yeah. He just exudes pus when he's around you. Frankness is a noun, and I will quickly read some synonym information for the word frank. So this is a bunch of words that are very similar to the word frank. They are frank, candid, open, plain. They mean showing willingness to tell what one feels or thinks. Frank stresses lack of shyness or secretiveness or of evasiveness from considerations of tact or expedience, as in frank discussions. Those are discussions where you are talking about your intern, so I believe the two of you have had many, many frank discussions trying to see if you can get out of your contract.
Yeah, that's the one thing he did well, was locking us into that contract.
Yeah. Evil Frank. The word candid suggests expression marked by sincerity and honesty, especially in offering unwelcome criticism or opinion, as in a candid appraisal. Has Frank ever been very open and candid with you, or do you think he lies? Do you think he's not a Frank?
When Frank filled out his job application to try to get this very prestigious job of being our lowly unpaid intern, I did wonder if he did lie about his age, about his name, and his name really isn't Frank. So I don't know. I mean, if he lied on his resume, I'm so open to firing him on the spot.
That would nullify the contract. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have Frank look into that, see if we can get him removed.
Yeah. Definitely get Frank to be the one to look into that. Yeah. He'll do a good job, I'm sure. Okay, the word open implies frankness, but suggests more indiscretion than frank and less earnestness than candid. I feel like I need to put a little counter of how many times the word frank is mentioned in this episode. Okay, I'll consider that.
That would be franking awesome.
The example there is open in saying what they think. And then the last one is the word plain, not the plain, but the plain. And that one suggests outspokenness and freedom from affectation or subtlety in expression, as in plain talk. That's the kind of talk that I need. What do you like plain talk, or do you like really a fancy lot of affectation, a lot of subtleties, a lot of big words in your talk? What do you like?
I'm good with all the above. I think talking is fun.
That's true.
And as long as there's enough context clues, I don't mind if people use big, weird words that I don't know.
You'll just have to come to my podcast to learn about them.
That's right.
That's true.
Dave, what about you?
Yeah, for me, the the simpler the word is, the more frank it is, I will understand it a lot better. I mean, sometimes when our intern Frank puts these really long, complicated words, in front of us and asks us to say them, I stumble over them. So there's a lot of bloopers of me stumbling over really long words. So let's dumb it down for Dave, okay, intern Frank? Please.
Yeah, me too.
What was the one word that you really struggled with?
Oh, it was collaboration.
Oh, yeah. No, collaborator.
I got it right that time. Look.
No, it was collaborator.
Collaborator. That's right, collaborator.
Like Labrador Retriever. I remember making that joke.
You should have had us on for the C's there, Spencer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a full blooper episode, maybe for Patreon, if Frank has the time to edit that together. I know that sometimes you put in a few, maybe at the end of an episode, but I love a blooper. I love a blooper.
I think the best blooper ever on our show came within the first couple weeks of us recording, Dave. I don't know if you know the timing on this, but we're recording and then just in the middle of it, Dave sneezes. And it was so funny to us that we made it a secret episode, but we thought it was so special and so funny that we made it secret episode number 27. But we put out the secret episode so infrequently that it took like 5 years later before we actually put it out.
That's extra secret for sure.
That's right.
Yep. And that very special episode is only available for our Patreon family. You have to be a supporter of Dave and Ethan's 2000 Weird Al podcast, which you are, Spencer. Thank you very much. In order to hear that episode.
And where can people go to join your Patreon?
It's patreon.com/2000inch.
Oh, that's so hard. Hard to remember. Make it shorter, please. Now, this next thing that's going to happen is something that you probably are not aware of. I have taken to making a sound effect in between each word. It's just something that I usually make with my mouth. It could be related to a word in this episode or not. What about the two of you? What do you think should be the sound effect in this episode? And I can make it. We can rotate around. We can have fun with it.
Should it be related to the word?
It can be. What sound comes to mind? What do you want to do with your mouth when you hear about Frank or when Frank talks to you?
I feel like retching whenever I hear Frank's name, so I think the sound effect should be you vomiting all over everything.
Okay, I can do that. Are you willing to do this as well if we do rotate around each time? Or should it just be me? Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. That's why we're here, Spencer.
I think we should all do it unanimously every time.
Unanimously?
Together.
Oh, that's even more fun.
Let's do it. Unanimously is a really long word. Can you frank that down a little bit?
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to frank it up, Dave.
It's so long he can't even say it either.
There's another blooper. Put that one on your blooper reel for this episode.
Oh, that's just going in the episode. We're not even cutting that out. All right. So at the count of 3, we will all make a retching sound. Okay?
Our interpretation, because I have no idea what you guys are going to do or what a retching sound is.
Let's just do it.
Let's
just do it. All right. 3, 2, 1. It's perfect. Going forward, I think we should do them individually because I want to hear what everybody has to do. But for that first one, I think that was the right idea. Just do it all together.
Yeah.
All right. We are now on the second form of the word Frank. This one.
There's more than one Frank?
There's more.
My gosh.
There's so many Franks. This one is a transitive verb from 1701, number 1A, to mark with an official signature or sign indicating the right of the sender to free mailing. And the thing that you are marking would be a piece of mail. Have you guys ever heard of this word being used in this way?
Never.
No. Maybe back in 1701, people may have franked their mail.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, this seems old. Older than Frank, I think. You have to sign it to say that you get free mailing? How? Who? Can anybody? I think they stopped using this because people started signing it to say they got free mailing, but they didn't get free mailing, and I don't understand this thing at all.
Yeah, to mark with an official signature or sign indicating the right of the sender to free mailing. I mean, Spencer, if you want free mail, I will sign something for you.
All right, let's see if the post office will frank me some mail. I think we should try. We should try this to see if the post office.
I'm going to do that. You know, the next letter that I have to mail, I'm just going to sign it instead of putting a stamp on it. I like it.
Sign it. Look, I get free mail, right? Let me know what they say. I want to know.
I franked this letter to my friend. Absolutely.
I feel like I get franked with like spam mail all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm always tearing stuff up and throwing it out. Like I never get anything good in my mailbox.
Most of my mail is definitely junk mail. In my email as well. They're franking me lots of mail.
Yep.
1B is to mail free. Very similar. Okay. I don't know how to do it. I will try and figure that out. Number 1C.
Actually, I one time did mail something for free. I figured it out.
How'd you do that?
I had the idea, as younger, and I guess anything that I'm telling a story about is from when I was younger, but I was a lot younger, and I had the idea, it's like, if I wanted to send something to someone for free, if I put them as the return address, and then my address as the to address, and then I put it in a mailbox somewhere, like a Dropbox, then where would they bring it? They would bring it back to the person who didn't put the stamp on it, and it worked.
That is pretty fucking sneaky, man. I'm gonna tell you.
To just add irony to the whole situation, I did put an exact change inside the envelope of what the stamp would have cost.
That is amazing. That is definitely an Ethan thing to do. I've never heard that story before. That's incredible.
I don't think I just remembered it.
Now you have the postal police on your your back here. You've already got a lot of other jurisdictions looking for your arrest,
That's right.
breaking and
That's
entering, and many other things. So be careful.
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations? How old were you?
Yeah, I don't know how old I was, but it also crossed state lines because I live in New York. And I was in Massachusetts, and I put my address in New York as the return address. So.
Yeah, but there was money inside, so it's okay.
They should have just opened it.
Yeah. Why didn't they know? Don't they X-ray these things?
You'd think.
Oh, that's pretty funny. So 1C, we're still talking about free mail here. This is to affix to a stamp or marking let me try that again. To affix to a stamp or a marking indicating the payment of postage. So you could put a stamp on a thing to frank it, or you can say, yep, it's paid. Here's my signature. We're good. I guess that's it.
I feel like we need to bring this back. The three of us and your listeners. Let's just start using it again.
Yeah. Just start signing your mail and don't put a stamp on there and just see what they say. We can make it happen. Number 2 is to enable, to pass, or go freely or easily. And, don't fully understand the context of that one, but I can tell you that this is from the word frank in I think is Latin or French, which basically just means free. They're using that word in all these different ways. So that's why I know why they're using the word frank for this mail example, but I don't understand this mail example.
Well, fortunately, our intern Frank works for free, so that's probably why he calls himself Frank.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
He pays us to work for free for us, though. There are charges involved.
That's true. We do dock from his pay very often, so he ends up owing us a lot of money.
Yeah, with all the mistakes that he's been making, that makes sense.
I don't know how he actually even pays us, Dave, because he spends most of his time working, charitable causes and that sort of thing. It's really despicable that he can't get a good paying job.
You make him work like 60 or 80 hours a week, right?
At least.
I mean, we make him work 60 to 80 hours a day. He has to figure it out, but we make him work that much. Absolutely.
Yeah. He doesn't have time for a real job.
No, we told him, he works at these animal shelters and he helps at the old folks' homes. He does all this stuff, and we're like, Frank, we really need you to, shine our shoes and that kind of stuff. I know I don't really have, I wear Vans and you can't really shine them, but that's not my problem to figure out. That's his problem. That's why he works for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a load of laundry ready to go, and I don't know where intern Frank is with the laundry detergent I sent him out for 25 minutes ago. So, what's going on, intern Frank? Get your act together.
So is that the only reason you're wearing that shirt? Because all the rest of your shirts are dirty?
Well, I think Dave, he has a lot of those shirts.
Well, true.
This is the only shirt I wear, Spencer. I have 7 different versions of it, and I just wear a different one every day.
You need to get the word out that we are anti-Frank, intern Frank.
All right, we'll try a little harder.
Yeah, thank you. Frankable is an adjective, and franker is a noun. And so that's it for the male example. Dave, I would like you to make a retching sound, please. Oh, Frank-tastic. This is now the third form of the word frank, which is a noun from 1713. Number 1A. The signature of the sender of a piece of franked mail serving in place of a postage stamp. You got to frank your frank on the mail.
Wow. This is like Frankception right now.
I know. I love this. I love this idea that you can just sign your name up in the corner of any any snail mail that you want to send, and you just don't have to pay for it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Just frank it. Frank it to me. 1B is a mark or stamp on a piece of mail indicating postage paid. We can see some repetition here, so I'm going to go on to 1C, which is a franked envelope. Oh boy. I did not expect to learn so much in this episode.
So much about so little, though. It's just the word frank.
just the word frank. We haven't even gotten to the other cool words. Number 2, the privilege of sending mail free of charge. Ooh, I would like that privilege, please, because I am sending mail all the time, and I want to frank it. I want to frank that mail for free.
So it's the privilege, it's the process, it's the actual mark you make. I feel like the guy who invented mail, his name must be Frank, right?
It's everything. Okay, now, Ethan, it is your turn for a retch. I guess I should apologize to any listeners or watchers out there who might be... who might not enjoy this sound of a retch, but hey, this is what we are doing because that is how we feel about intern Frank, so you must live with it. Now we have the fourth form of the word frank, noun from 1904. The synonym is one of our upcoming words, which is frankfurter. A good word.
It's a good word.
We shall hold off any future discussions on frankfurter until we get there, but I have one thought in my brain about that. It's my turn to make a retch. Okay, now we have the unofficial fifth form of the word frank, but it's not the actual fifth form because the F is capitalized. This is a noun from before the 12th century. It is the terrible intern of the podcast with my hosts here. That's what it says. That's very strange. No, wow. It's actually a member of a West Germanic tribal confederacy that entered the Roman provinces in AD 253, occupied the Netherlands and most of Gaul, and established themselves along the Rhine. I think that would be the Rhine River. Do you guys know much about these Franks?
No.
I mean, I feel bad for anybody who was around in the 12th century that had to put up with intern Frank. I'm just going to say that.
He's been around a long time.
Now, are we saying it right? Is it Frank or any of these Frank?
Well, that is a very good point. According to the pronunciation, it is Frank, but I agree with you that it feels like it should be a little bit different than that. Yeah, it's well, let's talk about the etymology. This is Middle English, which means partly, from Old English franca, which means partly, from Anglo-French franc, from the Lower Latin francus. It is of Germanic origin, akin to the Old High German franco, which means frank, and also the Old English franca. So yeah, I have no clue how to pronounce it.
I wonder if our intern Frank's wife's name is Franca.
Oh.
Franca. His French Canadian cousin's name is Francois.
That's very close. Do you know anything about Frank's personal life? Does he have a wife? Does he have kids? Does he have a family?
We want to know absolutely as little as possible about intern Frank. We don't ever ask him any personal questions. We just demand that he show up on time. In fact, we demand he be there 5 minutes early before we even ask him to show up. He should know when he should be there. We shouldn't even have to tell him when he wants to be there. We know nothing about intern Frank at all. We don't care. We just don't really care.
That's good.
I think he might have a really big TV, but that's all I know.
No, unimportant to his work. He doesn't even have time to watch TV, I think.
He shouldn't.
If he does, then he's slacking off, and he better get back in the office and continue working.
Yeah, he's got to do your laundry. I shall put a link in the show notes for this Frank of the people, the West Germanic Tribal Confederacy, because, maybe some people who like history want to know about them, but I don't know so much.
Well, now hearing about these people called Frank, I'm afraid to get, an ancestry.com or, I'm afraid to do the DNA testing because I don't know if I could live with myself if I was part Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Ethan is 100% Frankish. Nobody wants that. Okay. Dave, also known as Elvis, please retch for me. Oh, that was very Elvis of you. The next word
Thank you very much.
The next word is Frankenfood with a capital F. This is a noun from 1992. It is genetically engineered food. And this is a combination of from Frankenstein and also food.
Food from Food Album. I think Al was the one who invented that word.
The Food Album, yes. That was directly where they took that from. Yeah.
Weird Al, yeah.
Probably around 1992, in fact. Do you eat this type of Frankenfood? Do you call it Frankenfood? What are your opinions on genetically engineered Frankenfood?
Don't know if I have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I do have an opinion on it. I'm all on board with genetically engineered or genetically modified food. I think it's great.
But now that you know that it's also called Frankenfood, does that change your opinion a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. But I'd never heard it called Frankenfood, so I've already, I guess, dug my heels in the stand.
Yeah, sorry, you're stuck. Now only you can only eat Frankenfood for the rest of your days.
Can you give me an example of Frankenfood? What would qualify as a Frankenfood?
Yeah, well, anything that's genetically engineered, so which I think is a lot more stuff than people probably realize. If it doesn't say organic, then it might be Frankenfood. I don't know. There's so many different types too, but I know a lot of them are really good. They're making rice that can grow in areas that don't need so much water, so they can grow rice there during a drought or something like that. That seems pretty good. But then there's other stuff that's genetically modified to not be bothered by pesticides. So I don't know, they're all different types.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah. I was hoping that Frankenfood would be, this type of food smashed together with this food and all these foods coming together to make a Frankenstein food, but no, that's not quite what it is.
I was hoping Frankenfood would be the kind of food that Frankenstein would eat.
Yeah. All right, Ethan, I think it is time for a retch from you. Oh, that was a good one. The next word is actually Frankenstein.
Oh.
Did not expect Frankenstein to be in here. You could also say Frankenstein if you want. That seems like it might be a little bit more correct.
Does it really say that?
It does, yeah. If you are remembering the movie Young Frankenstein, you would actually have to pronounce it Frankenstein, I think. So this is a noun from 1818, number 1A. It is the title character in Mary W. Shelley's novel Frankenstein, who creates a monster that ruins his life. So the character is Frankenstein, the doctor, the scientist is Frankenstein, or Frankenstein, and he creates the monster that just really franks everything up.
Now, this is interesting because a lot of people, I think, confuse this and they think that the monster's name is Frankenstein when it's actually the person, the title character who created the monster whose name is Frankenstein. In fact, Frankenstein does appear, the word Frankenstein does appear in a Weird Al song, performed this way, as parody of Lady Gaga's Born This Way. And in the actual song, he's talking about how don't be offended when you see my latest pop monstrosity. I'm strange, weird, shocking, odd, bizarre. I'm Frankenstein. I'm Avatar. And so he's saying he is Frankenstein. If you're watching the video, he's dressed up as Frankenstein's monster instead of Frankenstein, the person. So I think in this one, even Al fell under the spell that the character's name is Frankenstein's monster, but he confused it and thought it was just Frankenstein.
Isn't it fair to assume that Dr. Frankenstein could be dressed up as Frankenstein? And Al was just being dressed up as Dr. Frankenstein, getting ready for a Halloween party, dressed up like Frankenstein's monster.
Maybe. Anything's possible.
All right.
If you try.
I do love the idea of the Dr. Frankenstein dressing up for Halloween as his own monster.
I mean, it's a little gauche, but...
Yeah. Maybe a little tacky.
Oh.
I see what you did there.
What versions of Frankenstein have you guys seen or read, or what's your connection with this story?
I don't know if I've ever seen a real Frankenstein movie outside of Young Frankenstein. And then Dino Stamatopoulos created this really great show for Adult Swim called Mary Shelley's Frankenhole. And the fact that he put Mary Shelley's name on it, I think is, it's a good show, but I feel like that usage was the funniest part for me. Just brilliant.
I'll have to look at that one.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of reading, so I've definitely never read the novel Frankenstein. I don't know that I've ever seen a movie about Frankenstein either. I'm just familiar about Dr. Frankenstein and his monster just through popular culture.
Yeah. Have you never seen Young Frankenstein from Mel Brooks?
I have not seen Young Frankenstein.
That might be the only one you need to see, honestly.
It's one of the few black and white movies that I can appreciate.
Yeah, you definitely understand it more if you watch the original Frankenstein movie from the 30s, but also it's Mel Brooks, so you can appreciate it no matter what. Yeah.
I will check that out. That sounds amazing.
I did see the Broadway musical of Young Frankenstein when I was in high school. Oh. It was like a class trip, and it was very cool. It was very good. Sutton Foster was in it, and I was excited because she's in Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, yeah. I have to look up her face. I know the name, and I love Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, she's the Brett's girlfriend in the first season.
Oh, wait. Am I thinking of the right person? Okay. Yeah, she looks kind of familiar. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen her in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Flight of the Conchords are so good. Yeah, I've seen the original Frankenstein. I've seen Bride of Frankenstein, which is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but that one's interesting. And I don't know if I've seen any of the modern remakes. Like, I think Robert De Niro is in one or something. Yeah. Anyway, what else do we have to say about Frankenstein? We have 1B, a monster in the shape of a man, especially in popularized versions of the Frankenstein story.
Oh, okay.
I did just think of another one. There's a new one that just came out. It's literally called, like, The Girl and Her Monster or something like that. And it's about a girl who lives in the projects, and she's very smart, sciencey, and she creates, I think, like, her cousin gets shot, and then she brings him back to life as a monster. It was a very interesting take on the Frankenstein story.
That's cool.
Takes place in the projects.
I never heard of it.
Number 2 is a monstrous creation, especially a work or agency that ruins its originator. That's the whole thing. Well, I think this podcast is a Frankenstein because it's ruining its originator. And it's a monstrous creation.
I'd argue you're improving the dictionary.
Yeah, but I'm being ruined at the same time. No, I don't even know what that means. Oh, here's a good word. Frankensteinian or Frankensteinian. That's an adjective.
Wow.
All right. Any other? Yeah?
No, I'm amazed that that's a word that made it into the dictionary. That's just...
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think they'd skip a couple words.
Yeah, but, it doesn't get its own entry, so they're like, yeah, here's some other forms of this word. You should probably know how to use that. All right, it is my turn for a retch. The next word is Frankfurter, and after all that Frankenstein talk, I want to say Frankenfurter, which is really kind of what Frankfurters are, but I guess we'll get there.
In a way, yes.
Frankfurter, or it could also just be Frankfurt. This is a noun from 1887. This is a cured cooked sausage as of beef or beef and pork that may be skinless or stuffed in a casing. And Ethan, I know that you are a vegetarian. I myself am vegan. So how do you feel about Frankfurters?
I would say that even before I stopped eating meat as a kid, I was not a fan of meat hot dogs. I felt like anytime I ate them, I always felt sick. So that they were definitely part of the reason I became a vegetarian so long ago. Is I never really agreed with hot dogs or Frankfurters, so to speak. So vegan hot dogs, veggie dogs, I love a lot of those. There's some brands that I like better than others, but
yeah.
I'm a fan of the concept of a log of meat in a bread with toppings, just not necessarily the beef and pork kind.
Right. Did you ever see that Simpsons old Simpsons episode where Lisa went vegetarian? Is that part of your history?
I know I've seen that episode, but that wasn't part of it at all. No.
I think there's a part where it's one of those like thought bubbles, but because it's the Simpsons, it's different. And they take all these like weird pieces from different animals, like the tail of a rat and like the claws of an eagle or something, and then they like put them all together. That's a hot dog. Like, oh yeah, that's literally what they are. It's a lot of the extra stuff. And Dave, what are your thoughts and opinions or feelings about Frankenfurters?
As the resident carnivore on this podcast, I gotta say, I enjoy hot dogs a lot. Or Frankfurters, not Frankenfurters. Frankenfurters are hot dogs made out of Frankenstein's monster. No, I enjoy Frankfurters quite a bit. Actually, I enjoy them a lot. And actually, there's quite a few Weird Al connections to the Frankfurter, probably the most popular one is the ever-famed Twinkie Wiener sandwich. And Ethan, you want to tell us what's in a Twinkie Wiener sandwich?
Yeah, the Twinkie Wiener Sandwich, of course, originated from Weird Al's incredible first film, UHF, from 1989, and it is a regular hot dog on a split Twinkie, being used as the bun in a typical hot dog, and then on top it is topped with spray cheese whiz. And I guess this is a bit of a debated topic, but optionally it is dunked into milk before consuming.
Yes. Apparently the milk is optional, from what I've been told from Weird Al Yankovic. However, in the movie, he does dunk it in milk. So I think it should be canon. I think it should be required for anybody who's trying a Twinkie Wiener sandwich to dunk it in milk.
I will share a personal story that in 2019, Dave, I was with you at, I believe it was the New York City Forest Hills show, and you asked Al about it, and he said it was optional, but because at that time, Dave, you had not actually tried a Twinkie Wiener sandwich, Al said it was a requirement for a fan of your stature.
That's right.
Yeah. And so I do remember hearing some talk on your show about you both trying the Twinkie Wiener sandwich, or also the Twinkie Frankenfurter sandwich. What are your experiences with it?
Now, technically, I've never had an actual authentic one. I've always had a vegetarian version.
Yeah. I think it counts.
I will say, from the vegetarian standpoint, I enjoy it. I think it tastes good, but I'm not a huge fan of dunking it in any milk, soy-based or otherwise. That kind of ruins it for me.
Yeah. What about you, Dave?
So I've actually tried a Twinkie Wiener sandwich twice, and both times have been recorded for posterity on Dave Neatham's 2000 Weird Al podcast. It's the only time I'll ever eat one. I mean, they were authentic. They were real Frankfurters, cut with a real authentic Twinkie and real authentic sprayed cheese. I remember Ethan and I... we couldn't trust intern Frank with this very important thing, so we were out like driving around at like 1 o'clock in the morning trying to find a place that sold hot dogs and I think spray cheese or something. We were also looking for
all the things you need.
Yeah, because we had the brilliant idea to try the Twinkie Wiener sandwich. But yeah, you know what? I wasn't a big fan of it. I will only do it for my art. Certainly not the greatest taste, but I think any Weird Al fan, especially one of my stature, should be required to try it at least once. How about you, Spencer? Have you ever tried a Twinkie Wiener sandwich?
I have not, and at this point, it would have to be an all-vegan one, and so the easiness of me gathering those ingredients is difficult. But that being said, I would really, really like to. I just need a vegan Twinkie and vegan spray cheese, which I do think exists. I think it's the vegan Twinkie that's a little bit harder to come by. Vegan hot dogs are easy. Right. So yeah, I am down for it. I just have not taken the time or the energy to actually make that happen.
In early 2020, it was actually January 2020, before the world shut down, Dave and I did a special live event where we interviewed Jonah Ray, and then we showed UHF on a giant screen. And as part of that, our friends who have sponsored our podcast since the very beginning, Burrito, a.k.a. Wizard Burger, were able to source completely vegan Twinkie Wiener sandwiches for us. And they got a local vegan bakery to specifically make them vegan Twinkies. And did you try a vegan one, Dave?
I did. That was my my second one that I tried on the podcast. I tried the vegan version of the Twinkie Wiener sandwich. And it was a vegan dog. It was a vegan Twinkie, and I think we had vegan spray cheese. Maybe
it wasn't spray cheese. It was a vegan queso.
Okay,
but
close enough.
I thought it was great. I thought they did a great job. And
it was amazing.
After they had that bakery special make the Twinkies for our event, they just started selling vegan Twinkies on the Burrito menu for years to come. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do vaguely remember you saying that now. It's been, of course, and a half years.
Yeah.
But yes, I have been wanting to go to Burrito ever since you started talking about them on your show. So, if and when I do ever get out there, I am 100% going to Burrito. As soon as I get off the plane, that's where I'm going. Because I really, really want their goddamn food.
Well, check with me first so we can both go. I want to.
Yes.
I'll buy it for you.
Well, okay, and out of that, I'll buy you one.
Okay.
And I hope that they have Twinkie Wiener sandwiches at the time.
We'll have to give them a heads up.
Yeah, exactly.
Special request. Now
Dave,
there is one more. There is one more Weird Al song that does reference Frankfurters. But the other version of Frankfurters, the more common name probably, hot dogs, and that is Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White off of the 1988 album Even Worse. The line is that, basically it's about the Weird Al having these really strange dreams, and in the dreams his lips fall off and everybody starts to stare, and donuts and hot dogs are flying everywhere as he's stuck in a closet with Vanna White.
Is that the only hot dog reference in all of his songs? I feel like there should be more.
In all the release songs, for sure. I'm pretty sure that's the only one.
Interesting.
There might be some obscure, rare song, from some obscure appearance that maybe he mentions hot dogs or Frankfurters.
Yeah.
I don't know, but off the top of my head, off of the album version, of the album songs on there on the albums, I'm pretty sure hot dogs are only mentioned in Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White.
Frankfurter seems like a hard word to rhyme with, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only reason he hasn't brought that into any of his songs. But it's a good word otherwise. It's a German word. Did you know that? It is from, or it means of Frankfurt, the city Frankfurt, in Germany. That's it. I've been to Frankfurt, but I did not eat any Frankfurters when I was in Frankfurt. Any other comments about Frankfurters or hot dogs or Frankenfurters for that matter?
I think we're franked out.
We're franked out. Oh, that counter is going crazy. All right, Dave, you get to, give me a nice, polite, beautiful, scary wretch. I think it's the eye contact that was really the tough part about that one. Because I know you're looking at me right in the eyes.
That's right.
The next word is frankincense, spelled Frankincense, noun from the 14th century. This is a fragrant gum resin from trees of a genus of Somalia and southern coastal Arabia that is an important incense resin and has been used in religious rites, perfumery, and embalming. And the genus name is Boswellia, and that is of the family Burseraceae. And I'm going to say that I said those completely 100% accurately.
I agree.
I can only think of one thing that mentions frankincense because it's very popular. But what about you guys? Do you know? And maybe two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having trouble coming up with a Weird Al connection to this one.
I would say our podcast studios smell like frankincense once intern Frank rolls through. It's a horrible smell, and it sticks around once he leaves. So
the scent of the Frank. I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting that, you said this is a 14th century word, because the only time I've ever heard frankincense is, the frankincense and myrrh, the gifts from the three kings in the story of, the birth of Jesus. And that definitely happened, if you believe in the Bible, what the Bible has to say, that definitely happened before the 14th century. So how did that happen in almost 2,000 years ago, or around 2,000 years ago, when the word wasn't even invented yet?
Yeah, right. Or almost 2,000 inches ago. Well, I can definitely explain that if you like. It's
Sure.
This specific word got into English in the 14th century, but it evolved from other forms of the word that were around, around that year zero when Jesus 100% definitely was born. The Bible is 100% accurate, right? We're all in agreement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. I think there were Frankenfurters
Just
in
like
the Bible.
horoscopes, we all agree are
Yeah.
real.
Yes. So yeah, this is from Middle English Frankincense, from Anglo-French franc, which could have meant of high quality, and then also incense, which meant incense. So it's high quality incense. And, in your college dorm rooms, when you're lighting your incense, if it's really, really high quality stuff, then maybe you can give some to Jesus.
Great idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing about frankincense.
I mean, sometimes I get so angry at our intern Frank. I feel like, Frank has incensed me, but I don't know if that's the correct usage.
I think that's good. You've been Frank incensed.
With anger.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind covering intern Frank in frankincense and one day, just sending him out.
To make him smell better?
Make him smell a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, the smell coming off of intern Frank, you just will not believe it.
Yeah. I don't even, I'm not even going to ask that. I don't want to know what kind of smell this is. Maybe I'll get to experience that firsthand someday. I hope. I get to meet Frank.
I hope you're never that unlucky.
Yeah.
I like you too much to wish that upon you, Spencer.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't even wish that upon your enemies, namely Frank.
Wouldn't even wish it upon intern Frank.
Yeah. All right, Ethan, give me your last good wretch. Ugh, so disgusting, you guys. This is the word Frankish, and this is the first form. It is an adjective from the 14th century, and it means of or relating to the Franks, or maybe the Franks. Those would be the people in Europe, the West Germanic Tribal Confederacy. And we are just going to chug right along to my last wretch, which will be... The very last word is the second form of
Sound like
Frankish.
Tarzan.
This one is a noun from the 14th century. It is the Germanic language of the Franks or the Franks. They speak Frankish. All right. Now that we have done all of the words, you guys, I am forcing you guys to pick a word of the episode, and I will quickly reread them to remind everybody about what these words are, and you can pick whichever one you like, and then you can sing a song about that word if you are fine with that. The words were Frank, 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 Frankenfood, Frankenstein, Frankfurter, frankincense, Frankish, and Frankish. Dave, what you like?
I just want to see what the word counter is for the word Frank. So I'm going to pick the word Frank because...
Wait, which one?
Well, if you don't want me to sing, so if you want me to sing, I would probably pick Frankenstein's because I can go to perform this way. But if you don't care if I don't sing, then I'll pick Frank with the capital F because that's what's on my shirt.
That makes sense. And I will not force you to sing. That is perfectly okay. But that means Ethan now needs to sing twice as much. Ethan, what's your word of the episode?
I mean, with this song in mind, I'm trying to think of what is going to give me the most rhyming possibilities. And I think one of the thoughts we had is that Al doesn't use Frankenfurter because it's a little tough to rhyme with. So I can't pick that one.
It's not even Frankenfurter, it's Frankfurter.
Oh,
I think
Spencer has me all confused.
My job here is done.
Well, I guess.
Well, I want to challenge you, Ethan. You're a songwriter and a performer. I want to challenge you to use the word Frank, any of the 5 versions of it that we heard. Also, the word Frankenfood, Frankenstein, Frankfurter, frankincense, and Frankish in a song.
On the spot.
Yeah.
On the spot.
Oh, boy.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could just sing the words. Then
That's
it's not
usually
really...
what I do.
Okay, you just sing them like in a. It does have to be in order, or what are you suggesting, Dave?
Yeah. What do you?
I'm suggesting you
want?
use every single word that we talked about, and yeah, I would love if you could put some context around it. But if you want to sing them all, do it.
Well, I'm curious to know what you think, Ethan. Without the song in mind, what would you pick as the word of the episode?
Probably Frankenfood. It seems like my guess is that I would love to know the origin of it, but my guess is that some newspaper columnist is the one who came up with it, and I bet they're smug and it's stupid, and they're probably like so impressed that their little word made it into a dictionary, and now this podcast. So
I would be very happy with that as well. Yeah.
Well, can we get a word in the dictionary? Can we get the word Frankenfurter put into the dictionary?
We could
Spencer,
try.
you got some pull. You know
do.
people
Yeah.
with dictionaries, right? You can certainly get that word in there.
Yeah, I know a few people who own their own dictionary, just on their bookshelf that they never look at, and so I'll contact them and I'll see if they can get the word Frankenfurter in there, because I think it should be in there, because I believe that Frankfurters are automatically Frankenfurters. Yeah. Based on Frankenstein,
right? And Frankenfood.
And Frankenfood.
If we get a Frankenfurter would be an example of a Frankenfood, I would think, if we do some genetic engineering to it.
Yeah. Ethan, I think the lyrics are coming along.
Frankenstein, this monster sort of a thing that we pieced together, and I wouldn't mind sacrificing our intern Frank for this project.
To make a Frankfurter from Frank?
Hey, he knows what he signed up for when he joined our podcast.
When the 2,000 inches are done, so is Frank.
If he lasts that long.
The only good song parody I can think of, and I don't know that I want to go for using all the words, but I have a song that I think maybe we could all sing together. It could be the chorus to the song from the Beatles called Help, and I'm just picturing that instead of help, we're yelling Frank.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and singing on a remote podcast at the same time always works very, very well. So I think we should definitely try that.
Well, so how about, we'll have Dave say the Frank part, and then I'll say the other parts.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. On the count of 3, Dave will start with the word Frank. 3, 2, 1.
Frank.
He is our intern.
Frank.
We really hate him.
Frank.
I hate you, intern Frank. I don't know how the song actually goes, but that's how ours goes.
And then one last Frank from Dave. Ready, set, go.
Frank.
A perfect ending to this show. Thank you guys for doing this. I'm so sorry that your ears are probably bleeding now from all the times we said Frank and all the various forms. And can you please let everybody know what you got going in your life with your podcast and other stuff, and where people can find it all?
You can head over to our Frank.
Got to get that Frank count up.
I'm going to put that in the show notes.
And to translate that, you can check out our podcast over at weirdalpodcast.com or 2000inch.com. You can follow us on social media at 2000inch. and you can come see us if you're at a Weird Al show, if you're going to one of the ones we're going to, and you're not one of those jerks who only goes to one show that we're not going to. We'd love to say hi. We'd love to give you some stickers. Maybe we'll even have a wooden nickel that we can spare. But we also have a Facebook group, group.2000inch.com. If you fancy yourself a Weird Al superfan, we would love to have you join the group, even if you don't listen to the podcast, and share in some fun anti-Frank related Weird Al positive discussions.
And you don't even need to be a super fan.
Technically.
No, I mean, we welcome all Weird Al fans to our podcast. You can check us out on social media everywhere. At 2000inch is our handle. And Instagram, we post pretty much daily all Weird Al history things as well. Those are a lot of fun. Definitely give our podcast a listen if you're into Weird Al. I think you'll enjoy it. We have a lot of amazing guests on. Everybody from Weird Al himself, everybody in the band has been on the podcast. We've interviewed people who've worked with Weird Al in every capacity. From his first movie, UHF, to his most recent movie, Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. We've hit everybody in between. We've hit people who've worked, performed on his songs, who've toured with him, and who've done TV shows with him.
We interviewed someone who worked on Weird Al's teeth.
That's right. We actually have interviewed Weird Al's former dentist, and it's not a joke. We really talked to his dentist for a good period of time,
and due to HIPAA rules, we had to get permission from Weird Al for his dentist to even say that he was a client, but we got all the necessary permissions. Sure. And we had a riveting we really drilled down into the facts. And
yeah, that's right. If you want to hear how Weird Al's oral hygiene is, you're gonna have to listen to that episode
for free.
For free,
right.
Yeah.
All of our podcasts are absolutely free.
Unless you want them early.
Patreon, for our amazing Patreon family, we do put out each and every one of our bonus episodes, which are generally those concert reviews early. So it is a perk of being a member of our Patreon family. You get to listen to the reviews, and they're a lot of fun to listen to, and a lot of fun to record. And we have some fun special guests on those as well. And you can listen to those over at patreon.com/2000inch. As soon as intern Frank posts them.
As soon as he gets off his lazy ass. This episode is airing on July 10th. Where are you going to be in relation to the tour on July 10th? Will you be mid-show? Is there a show that night? And all whopping 30 people will listen to this episode that morning.
Yeah, so on July 10th, we are going to be getting ready for the big Madison Square Garden show, which is happening on July 12th, which we're so excited about. We'll finally get to see Weird Al perform in Madison Square Garden, which at the time of this recording is nearly sold out. So I bet it's sold out by the time this episode airs. And that's also the same month that just a few weeks later, Dave and I will be part of a panel at San Diego Comic-Con talking about Weird Al for the second year in a row. Thanks to our buddies over at the Weird Algorithm podcast who have invited us back to rank the Dare to Be Stupid album on its 40th anniversary. So lots of fun coming up for folks who are listening to this episode as it airs.
Yeah. So the upcoming thing that you're doing at Comic-Con is about Dare to Be Stupid. That's the new one.
Correct.
Yeah. I remember you talking about the last year one, and that sounded like a lot of fun. So if anybody is going to Comic-Con, look out for them doing their panel about Dare to Be Stupid for the 40th anniversary. Holy crap, I'm old. And also Madison Square Garden and all of the rest of the shows well into September. It's a long, long tour.
Yeah, and hit us up on our social media or at group.2000inch.com and let us know which concert you're coming to, because we would love to meet the people who listen to the Dictionary podcast, as well as the people who listen to Dave and Ethan's 2000 Weird Al podcast. Let us know you heard us on here.
There's a lot more of your listeners than there are of my listeners.
I think it's a big spread of Venn diagram. I bet a lot of similar people.
There's definitely a crossover for sure. Well, thank you guys for doing this. As expected, I had a blast, and somewhere over one of my shoulders will be a final Frank count. And until next time,
see that Frank count.
I'm just going to continue to say Frank at random times just for the rest of this episode, just to see how high we can get Frank.
While you're doing your outro, Frank, I'm just going to keep saying Frank.
I can't even talk when there's people talking at me, and they keep on saying the word Frank.
All right, we're done.
Has been Spencer dispensing information, and I'm feeling oh so franked out today.
Frank.
Until next time, goodbye.
Frank.
Frank.
I just don't get all this hate for intern Frank. I think Frank is a decent, hardworking guy. You guys are just mean and cruel, and I just don't get it.
Frank.